students, welcome to your business studies class. Today we'll be looking at a very important topic in business studies. In our previous class, we looked at the definition of business studies, in which we were able to identify 5 components of business studies, and one of them is office practice. So today we'll be looking at the office as one of the components of business studies. And also we'll be looking at an office staff. So our topic for today is the office / office staff. So by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to define an office, identify and explain the types of office that we have, state the functions of an office, identify different offices that can be found in an organization. Then also we'll look at who a clerical staff is, the functions of a clerical staff. We'll list out the qualities of a clerical staff. And lastly, we explain the confidentiality of office information. So we begin with the definition of an office. How well can an office be defined? An office can be defined as a room or a place set aside in an organization where people work. I take it again. An office can be defined as a room or a place in an organization or in an establishment where people work. And in this same room or place, clerical activities are mainly carried out there. So we can simply say that an office is the center of all activities carried out in an organization. Your parents would wake up in the morning and tell you they're heading to the office. What do they basically go there to do? They basically go there to work. They basically go there to carry out some activities. So that is what an office is all about. An office is not the entire organization. It's just a room, or we say there are rooms set aside in the establishment that we call an office. Now we move to the types of office. There are basically 2 types of office, namely the small office and the large office. The 2 types of office are the small office and the large office. So how can we define or describe a small office? A small office is an office where small clerical activities are carried out. We can simply say that an office described as a small office are basically found in small organizations. Small offices are found in small organizations where small or little clerical activities are carried out. And in this small office, you basically find 1 to 10 workers. So a small office contains just 1 to 10 workers. Any office that exceeds 10 workers cannot be described as a small office. So 3 things I bring out from this. So a small office is an office, number 1, found in small organizations. Number 2, small clerical activities are carried out. And number 3, it contains between 1 to 10 workers. That is how best to describe a small office. And in a small office too, you find little office aids. You don't really see complicated office aids in a small office. So we move to the large office. A large office is more or less the opposite of a small office. This kind of office can be found in big or large organizations with more than 10 workers. And why do they need more than 10 workers? It is due to the large volume of work carried out in such office or offices. You can be asked to compare or differentiate between a small and a large office. So I believe with this, you should be able to basically differentiate between a small office and a large office. So in case you are asked to do that, let me just give you some comparisons or differences between the two. I said the small office is basically found in small organizations, while the large office can be found in big or large organizations. The number 2 point that differentiates the small office from the large office is that in a small office, you find just they have between 1 to 10 workers, while in a large office, you have more than 10 workers. While the 3rd point, I said that the small office carries out just little or minimal volume of work, while in the large office, they carry out or they perform large volume of work. And we have different examples of small office. In a small office, examples of places where you can find a small office. You can find a small office in shops, in supermarkets, in fashion designing stores, in a school, hospitals. These are places where you can find small offices. While in a large office, we have a bank, government establishments, construction companies, and so many others. There are different functions of an office. We have basically 5 functions of an office. And these functions, we have 6 basic functions of an office. And the 6 functions of an office are: the first function is giving information, the second function is receiving information, the third function is recording information, the fourth one, arranging information, the fifth one, processing information, and the sixth one, storing information. So I'm going to be explaining those functions one after the other. The first basic function of an office is giving information. What do we mean by this? If, for example, you visit an office for the first time, I think the first thing you need to do is to get detailed information about activities carried out in the establishment. And the office is the place where you visit. Basically, the reception office, the secretary's office, or as the case may be, or the administrative office. In this kind of office, they give you all the detailed information you need to know about what the organization is all about. So in an office, they give information. The second one says receiving information. In as much as they give information, they also receive information. As they are giving you information, they also get feedback from you. They receive information, then they record information. Information received by you are recorded. Most times you visit an office or an establishment and you are given a form to fill. What are they trying to do? They are trying to receive your information, and not just receive it, they want to have it recorded so that they will be able to use it afterwards. So they record information, then they also arrange this information. There are different ways of arranging information. You can arrange information in files, you can arrange information in your computer, you can arrange information in cabinets. So information are also arranged either alphabetically, numerically, as the case may be. Another basic function of an office is processing information. Any information received by you, they don't just receive it or record it, they also work based on what you have given to them. They act based on what you have given to them. So they work out any information that needs processing. They don't just receive from you, they also do what? They process it. And the last one is storing information. Information can be stored in files, can be stored in cabinets. We have file cabinets. It can also be stored in the computer system so that anytime they are in need of it, they have full access to it. So these are the 6 basic functions of an office. Let's take it again. Number 1, I said giving information. Number 2, receiving information. Number 3, recording information. The 4th one says arranging information. The 5th one, processing information. And the last one, storing information. So you can see that every function of an office ends with information. So basically, all the things carried out in an office, they are all centered around information. Let's look at different offices that can be found in an organization. We have looked at types. So what are the examples of offices that you can find in an organization? The different offices you can find in an organization depends on the type of work done in that establishment. The types or examples of offices you can find in a hospital will be quite different from the one you can find in a school. Will also be quite different from the one you can find in a construction company. So let's just look at examples of offices that can be found in an organization. The first one is the administrative office. The administrative office is more or less the first office you enter when you visit an organization. It is the office that serves as the nerve center of the organization. They are in charge of the general running and management of the establishment. So this office can be found in basically any type of organization you find yourself. The second one is the boss's office or the accounts office. In the case of a higher institution, you find a boss's office. While in the case of any other establishment, you call it the accounts office. This is the office that is in charge of managing the inflow and the outflow of money, cash. The third one is the sports office, though this one might not be found in all establishments, but we also have an office that we can call the sports office. We have the guidance and counseling office. We have the general office. We have the staff office. We have the director's office. We have the general manager's office, and so many others. Like I said, it depends on the type of establishment and the type of activities carried out in such establishments. So we can see an administrator seated in our office. This type of office is called a small office. Why is it so? It's just her in the office alone. This is the staff room. You can see the members of staff seated there having their seats. Now, having looked at the office generally, let's look at a typical office staff, which we are going to be referring to as a clerical staff. How can we define a clerical staff, or who is a clerical staff? A clerical staff can be defined as a person, can be a male or a female, employed into an organization whose basic work is to perform or carry out routine jobs. What do we refer to as routine jobs? They are jobs or activities that are carried out on a daily basis in an office. So you need someone to work in an office or to help you carry out those routine jobs. And this person is referred to as a clerical staff. A clerical staff can also be referred to as a clerk. So another name you can give to a clerical staff is a clerk. So let's look at the functions of a clerical staff. What are the duties of a clerical staff? What are the assignments, the functions, those routine activities, those routine jobs that we talked about? What are these activities? Number one, like I said, the clerical staff can be a male or a female. So the first function is he or she writes official letters to other organizations as directed by a superior officer. It is the duty of the clerical staff to assist the boss, either the general manager or the administrator, to write official letters. If, for example, a letter is needed to be sent out to other establishments, the clerical staff can assist in drafting such a letter based on the directive of the superior officer. The second function of a clerical staff is he or she treats mail on staff matters. The word mail here can also be referred to as letters. So it is the duty of the clerical staff to treat letters on staff matters. The third function is he or she is in charge of answering, directing, and making calls in a professional manner. So he or she is in charge of answering professional calls on behalf of the establishment. He or she can also assist, that is the clerical staff, can also assist in making calls on behalf of the establishment, either to other workers in the establishment or to other organizations or individuals. They are in charge of phone calls. The fourth function of a clerical staff is receiving mails coming into the office or organizations. That means when a letter comes into an organization, it is the duty of this clerk to receive the mail. Then the sixth one says he or she posts and collects mails from the post office. You know, before now, the major means of communication was sending and receiving of letters through the post office. So one of the major duties of the clerical staff is to go to the post office on a daily basis to post letters and also collect letters from the post office. The clerical staff also assists in duplicating office documents using the photocopying machine, which we can also refer to as the photocopier. So he assists in duplicating office documents, duplicating letters, as the case may be, based on the directive of the superior officer. It is the duty of the clerical staff to work directly under the administrator or a superior officer and assist them to carry out all these routine jobs. All these are what we refer to as the routine jobs or routine activities meant to be carried out by the clerical staff. For you to be a good clerical staff, let's look at the qualities or the attributes a clerical staff should possess. The qualities of a clerical staff or the qualities of a clerk. Number one, a clerical staff is expected to have a sound educational background and basic qualification or qualifications. That is, a clerical staff is expected to at least have completed the senior secondary stage of education. That means the clerical staff is expected to have written the senior secondary certificate examination, which we all know as WAEC, for you to have the basic qualification so that you'll be able to interact with people in a professional manner. So somebody who just finished primary school or just the junior secondary level cannot work as a clerical staff. The second quality of a clerical staff is good appearance. A clerical staff is expected to be neatly and smartly dressed at all times. Why is this so? Most times when a visitor visits the establishment, you are the first person the visitor sees, and the first impression given to the visitor tells what the organization is all about. So if the clerical staff does not have a good physical appearance, especially in dressing, it portrays a bad image about the entire organization. So the clerical staff is meant to have a good physical appearance. That is, he or she is meant to be neatly and smartly dressed at all times. The third basic quality of a clerical staff is good health. Based on the kind of routine jobs the clerical staff is expected to carry out on a daily basis, the clerical staff is meant to always be in good health conditions. Not every time complaining that you are sick, you are ill, you are out of job. So you must always be in good health. Another quality of a clerical staff is ability to listen to instructions carefully. Remember, I told you that the clerical staff is meant to work based on the instruction or instructions given by the superior officer. So as a clerical staff, you are not meant to work on your own. You are meant to listen to instructions carefully on whatever job given to you. So you must have the ability to listen to instructions carefully, not assume that you know, but work or carry out your duties based on the instruction given to you by your superior officer. And then the fifth or additional quality of a clerical staff is ability to improve his or her education in future. Remember, I said in my first point, I said you must have the basic qualification, which is you having the senior secondary certificate, your senior secondary certificate. But you shouldn't end there. You should have that ability, that urge to improve your education and not just settle where you are as a clerical staff. That makes you a good worker in an establishment. You should have the ability to improve your education in future as time progresses. Then the last quality of a clerical staff is a clerical staff must be polite to everyone they come in contact with. Remember, it's always said that customers are always right. So a clerical staff is meant to be polite to people. Visitors. Remember, as a clerical staff, you are an ambassador in that establishment. Why did I call you an ambassador? Most times you are the first person. You are the first person that the visitor sees or the visitor has an encounter with when he or she visits. So the kind of welcome or the kind of attention you give to such a visitor tells the visitor if he or she is welcomed or not. So you should be polite. Somebody who is impolite or someone who is rude or lack courtesy cannot work as a clerical staff. As a clerical staff also, you should have the ability to work under pressure. Most times you might be faced with difficult tasks or you might be given activities that tend to be beyond you. You should be able to manage yourself, not overreact, so that you will be able to make a good presentation of your establishment. So these are the basic qualities of a clerical staff. Okay, so let's look at confidentiality of office information. Every organization has essential information that keeps them going. Remember when we looked at the 6 basic functions of an office, every function ends with the word information, which shows how essential information are meant to be handled. So as an office worker, whatever you are assigned to do in an office, you are expected to be able to keep the secrets of your organization. So another word we can use in place of confidential here is secret. It is essential for every worker, every employee in an establishment to be able to keep office information secret. However, we have some information that are meant to be kept public or open, while we have some that are meant to be kept secret or confidential. So those ones that are expected to be kept confidential or secret are expected to be kept confidential by every office worker. And why is this necessary? Why is this important? It is important as an office worker to keep this information confidential to safeguard your activities from competitors. Who are your competitors? Your competitors are people that are in the same line of business with you. People that tend to show that they are better than you. People that are not meant to know what keeps your organization going. So anything that you know that is the secret of your establishment is meant to be kept secret by every worker in that establishment, so as to make your competitor not to have an edge or an upper hand over you. So these are the things we have, these are the points we have for today's lesson. So before we end the lesson, let's just take a quick recap of what we have learned today. We started by looking at the definition of an office, and we defined an office as the place or a room in an organization or an establishment where clerical activities are carried out. And we identified the two major types of office. They are the small office and the large office, and we're able to make some comparisons between the two offices. You said a small office can be found in small organizations having between 1 to 10 workers, in which they carry out just small or little volume of work. Whereas we said a large office can be found in big establishments having more than 10 workers engaging in multiple tasks. Then we looked at examples of offices that can be found in an establishment. And I told you here that it depends on the type of activity carried out in the establishment. So examples of offices are, we have the administrative office, which is considered to be the nerve center of every establishment. We have the accounts office in charge of managing the inflow and the outflow of money. We have sports office, the staff office, the guidance and counseling office, the director's office, manager's office, and so on. We also identified the 6 basic functions of an office. We have giving information, receiving information, arranging information, processing information, storing information. Then we looked at a major office staff called the clerical staff. We said the clerical staff is a person who is employed in an establishment to carry out what we call routine jobs or routine activities. And what are the examples of these routine activities? Treating of mails, working with a photocopier machine for duplicating of documents, treating mails on staff matters, going to the post office to post and receive letters, and so on. Then lastly, we looked at confidentiality of office information, in which I made us to understand that another name for confidentiality is secret. As an office worker, you are expected to keep office information confidential. And I said the major reason why this is important is for you to be able to safeguard the activities of the establishment from competitors. That means people that are in the same line of business with you. Why is this important? Once you mistakenly leak your vital information to them, they will definitely use it against you, either to outrun you in business or to become someone better than you in business. So this shows how important it is for every worker, either a clerical staff, which I said we can also call a clerk, to be able, it shows how important it is for you to be able to keep office information confidential. So let's take some questions based on what we have learned in today's lesson. Let's look at some questions relating to what we have learned. Question 1 says, in a closed office, we have 5 options here. So what relates to a closed office? A, visitors can distract the workers. B, there is large volume of clerical activities. C, workers have better concentration. D, the absence of staff is easily noticed. E, noise made by workers can disturb concentration. Let's take the options again. So in a closed office is an office where all the workers are together in a room. It's an enclosed space where all the workers are seated. So visitors can distract the workers. No, in a closed office, visitors cannot distract the workers because it's closed. B, there is large volume of clerical activity. C says workers have better concentration. Looking at the option, the answer is C. Workers are able to concentrate because the office is closed. Let's take another question. The next question says, which of this is not a personal quality of a clerk? Remember, we looked at the qualities of a clerical staff. A, ability to answer questions. B, has to be intelligent. C, a sound educational background. D, a good appearance. E, being hostile. Looking at all the options here, the only one that is odd there is E, being hostile. Remember, I made mention of the point that as a clerical staff, you should be able to relate well with visitors and people that visit your organizations. Let's take another question. Another question says, an office can best be defined as a place where dash. Remember, we looked at the definition of an office. A, buying and selling is done. B, debts are paid. C, building and decks are displayed. D, business is carried out. And E, people discuss. So what do you think the answer is? The answer is D. An office can be defined as a place where business is carried out. Another name you can use in place of business here is work. It's a place where business is carried out. Let's take another question. It says, a good clerk will view dash as a negative quality. So what can we refer to as a negative quality of a clerk? A, neatness. B, deceit. C, skill. D, ambition. E, honesty. The first option here is a positive quality, which is neatness. The second option here, deceit, looking at it, is a negative quality. Skill is a positive quality. You having a good ambition is a positive quality. Honesty is a positive quality. So the only negative quality we have here is deceit. So option B is the appropriate answer. The next question says, the following are functions of an office except dash information. Except, that means which one is not a function of an office. Remember, we looked at the 6 basic functions of an office, all ending with information. A, holding information. B, storing information. C, giving information. D, retrieving information. E, processing information. So which of this is not the function of an office? The answer here is A, holding information. In an office, information, I told you when we're looking at confidentiality of office information that there are some information that are meant to be what? Open. If a visitor comes to the office to request for information, you are meant to give, except for the sensitive ones. So the option, the answer here, which is the odd one out, is holding information. Let's take the last question. Says an office that contains 1 to 2 persons only is called a dash office. An office that contains 1 to 2 persons only is called a dash office. The first option says large. B, close. C, public, D, open, E, general office. So which of these is the answer? An office that contains 1 to 2 persons. Is it a large office? No. Is it a closed office? Is it a public office? Is it an open office? Is it a general office? Looking at the options here, it's not a large office. A large office contains more than that. A closed office, the answer here is closed office. So with this, we come to the end of today's lesson, and I believe you have learned a lot, which should be able to help you in any exam that you come across. So see you in the next lesson. Bye for now.